On tonight's episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, the clock is ticking with tampering right around the corner, as well as free agency. 21 Denver Bronco free agents need to figure out what we're going to be doing. We're going to get that all figured out starting, I don't know, right about now. Well, welcome in to the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. Can't believe it, Jody. Free agency is just around the corner. Tampering is just around the corner. That's right. I said his name before I even introduced him. But, man, welcome to the show, Mr. Jody the Judge Moncrief. How you doing, my friend?
Doing well. Excited for Monday. Legal tampering starts and deals will be made 2 seconds into it.
Mm, yep. That's what this tampering period is all about. And then you get right into free agency right around the corner. Officially March 9th through the 11th. Like I said, right around the corner. That's when tampering starts and then wraps right into free agency. And we got 21 Denver Broncos. I wish I would have had a little bit more time. I would have made up one of those beautiful graphics I do for Kenny all the time. But to no avail. We'll get on with it without. That being said, I want to say hello to some of the posse members coming in. The show is ruled by you here on the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. Guys like Rodney Garcia coming in nice and early. And he's going to get a question answered right off the bat as well because he is so nice and early, man. Rodney Garcia over on YouTube. Good evening, Keith and Jody and Trevor. Is there a reason why Diggs was let go by New England? That the news is starting to filter out, and players are getting released or rumored to be released. One of those guys, Mr. Stephon Diggs, up in Buffalo, in New England. I'm sorry, gets released. What was the reason for it? Rodney wants to know. Jody, you got an answer?
I'm not really sure since he just signed that big deal in the offseason. I'm not really sure. I mean, he had over 1,000 yards. I thought he played well this year. So I'm not really sure, to be honest. There must be some behind the scenes something why after 1 year, I mean, he stayed healthy, he played. So I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, it is. It's pretty crazy. Didn't show up, obviously huge down the stretch for them in the playoffs, and no one showed up in the playoff game for the AFC Championship. But it is a great question. And it also is a great question of, do the Denver Broncos pursue a guy like Stephon Diggs? But that I'm going to let go for a second. Good evening, Keith and Jody. And by the way, Bo Nix and his wife Izzy Nix welcome a baby girl named Riley Bell Nix on Bo Nix's birthday, February 25th, 2026. Go Broncos. Big blue and orange hearts, big mile high salute. And he does it with 100 stars too, man. So Michael Ronquillo, thanks for coming in here and supporting the show. Also breaking the news, man. I've had a busy day, man. I didn't hear that one break in, but congratulations to Bo Nix. Congratulations to his wife. Congratulations on his now family that he has now that he has wife and child. It's a whole unit now, not just a pair. So that's a whole new experience for him. I'm sure he'll love and enjoy it, man. He seems like the dad type. He seems like the dad type. Right now, he seems like a elite quarterback type, and we'll get to that. Rodney Garcia is already picking places. We'll get to this guy, but he says he sees JFM to the Titans there, Tennessee Titans. So that'll be interesting. And we got to get to this, man. I know this is going to hit you. I'll let you speak on this probably more than anybody. We got this news today, and breaking it here this evening. Roy Osborne over on Facebook. Hey there, Horseman and the posse. First off, rest in peace, Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz, Notre Dame head coach, champion, brought a championship to the Fighting Irish. But I'll let you talk about Lou Holtz for a second, if you don't mind, my friend.
Yeah, he coached. I'm a big Notre Dame fan. Coached there for 10 years. Won them their last national title. Um, he was known. He was a great motivational speaker, and he knew how to get through to young men and get them inspired. Um, towards the end, he kind of, you know, for some of the goofy things he said, but he was a great coach first at Arkansas, then at Notre Dame. Uh, but that's what I'll remember. I mean, some of the quotes and some of the just how he was able to inspire and to get young men to follow him. I mean, look at those teams in the late '80s and early '90s. The amount of great players he had there.
Hmm. Yeah, you're talking to when I probably followed college football the most, and Lou Holtz, his years, it was just my formative years when it came to football, and Lou Holtz was always that institution. It was odd to see Notre Dame move on from him just because of how much those two were related. Very much felt like a Tom Landry almost type of situation that you had there with Lou Holtz and Notre Dame. Rest in peace. Great coach, great personality. Just always loved when he was on camera, and you got a great Lou Holtz quote. So, like you said, got to say hello to our good friend, always coming in here. Hello, Mr. Ernie Mays, Go Broncos Country Only. Hello, Keith and Cody. New name. No, Jody. I think that's just a mistype there, but maybe we'll have a Cody on here someday. Michael Ronquillo's out on Stephon Diggs, by the way. Interesting that you'd be out, Michael. I'd like to hear your reasoning behind it. Like Jody said, was a good, productive player for New England, and a lot of questions on why they might have released him, especially a team that needs weapons.
Yeah, I would really. There had to be something behind the scenes. I mean, I just looked it up. Like I said, I knew he had over 1,000 yards, 85 catches. Like you said, he didn't really do anything in the playoffs, but neither did really New England's offense. I mean, so
Can't put it all
I'm
on
not
Stephon
I'm not going to
Diggs.
put it all on Diggs. Drake May. I mean, if you just watched the postseason, you wouldn't have thought he was anywhere near MVP running. So
Ain't that the truth? Of course, Sam Darnold had his struggles as well. Still ended up getting Super Bowl trophy. But we're going to get on to the Broncos, man. Like I said, start this off, man. The what am I trying to say here? The tampering period, right around the corner, March 9th, man. And free agency right around after that. Three types of free agents, obviously. You have your unrestricted free agents. He's been more than 4 years. He's ran his contract. He's ready to be signed by anybody once the market opens. That's what this tampering period is all about. Maybe coming to terms with some of these guys that are unrestricted free agents. Restricted free agents, they've had exactly 3 years in the league. These are guys that their contracts are still ending. You still have the right, the opportunity to go out there and put a tender on them. You can say, hey, we want a first round tender on this guy. We want a third round tender on this guy. We have a seventh round tender. We can go out there, and then if we have the right to now either make good on that contract, or if that team signs him away, they have to give up first round, third round, fifth round pick, whatever it happens to be. Last one, the exclusive rights free agent, a guy that hasn't gotten 3 years. He has less than 3 years, I should say, but his contract's up. All it takes is a league minimum deal offered to him, and he's yours. Nobody else can negotiate him with him. You've got them all locked up. So that's our three that we'll be going through, and we'll be going through this as we go through position by position. Legal problems is what, by the way, what Michael Ronquillo is bringing up when it comes to Stephon Diggs. I did forget about his most recent legal problems. Yes, that's might be the behind the scenes stuff that you were talking about, Jody. And I'm not going to bring it to light either if anybody wants to read up on it, but that's could be a very good reason why A, the Patriots let him go, and B, why maybe a marriage with the Broncos isn't a marriage made in heaven. Let's go through this, man. For multiple years now, we've had a QB3 on this roster, but we do have a unrestricted free agent in one. Sam Ehlinger came in, was talked about highly in the quarterback room this last year, but you do have a few different options. You don't have to fill that position if you don't bring him back. You can fill it with somebody else. You can fill it with Sam Ehlinger. Where do you think the Broncos go when it comes to Sam Ehlinger, unrestricted free agent?
I'd like to know more what they're going to do with Stidham. I hear reports they're going to try to trade him.
Well, take that into account, man. Take that into account.
You know, if that's the case and he ends up getting moved, then I think it's pretty easy decision. You bring him back as the backup. Reports are he had at least 2 opportunities to go be on a 53 somewhere and turn that down, to stay in Denver. I think he likes Sean Payton, Davis Webb. He likes what he's learning here. So, with that being said, I think you can get him much cheaper than what you're paying Stidham or someone else. So,
for sure, Stidham, one of the highest paid backup quarterbacks in the league last year. How much credence do you put in the reports that there's interest in Stidham? Being you'd have to trade for him at that point, so it's not like a free agency thing like we're talking about right now. Someone would have to give up something in order to get Jarrett Stidham. Think there's legitimate interest out there in the NFL?
Maybe just because this draft class is so bad, and there are a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. But if you watch the AFC title game, other than really the second drive, what I expected to see from Stidham were some of what made him look bad. I expected him, hang in the pocket more, step up in the pocket. I mean, we give Bo Nix a hard time for drifting sometimes. I mean, that's all he did the whole game. So I don't know if that's 2 years of not playing or what. I don't know what to think about that, but I'm sure a lot of teams are also, you've learned under Sean Payton for 2 years, and I'm sure that means something. But the price tag, I mean, does someone want an expensive backup quarterback like that?
Yeah, that's the big question, man. It's like, who's out there, who wants to get him, and what are they willing to give up? What are we willing to let him go for? Obviously, I think there's a lot of value that they put in Jarrett Stidham. I will say this. I think this is the year that I don't think you carry 3 quarterbacks at some point. I really don't. I know that Sean Payton's been big on that, but I think that you can bring somebody in the door, kind of like we did with Sam a little bit late, and still have something. I think you can roll with 2 to begin with. And for me, unless somebody just jumps out with you for you in the draft that you thought really fell for some reason, you can roll with 2 and see what comes about, when it comes closer to the beginning of the season. That's the way I would go. We're going to be tackling running backs here in just a second. Rodney's wondering how much cap space we have. Cap space is pretty fun conversation this time of year. Last time I looked, we had about 26 million. We can get up to 70 million, and we've seen teams do some wild things with cap space in the last few days. Jody, how much cap space do you think that the Denver Broncos can add or and have as a total if need be? I don't think they'll go all the way to 70. What's a realistic number you think they could add to that 26 million? Where could they push it to?
45 somewhere in there. I think a couple, maybe a little more, 2 to 3 restructures, and you're there.
Hmm.
And
I
that's
agree.
with not really having. There's really no one on this roster that you absolutely need to cut or any of that. I mean, you can debate Dre Greenlaw, Evan Ingram, but it's not like they embarrassed themselves when they were on the field. So, and it's not the 6 or 7 million. That's I don't. You still got to replace that person, and are you going to get better than that in what's out there? So, um, I mean, we've seen it last year. Look at Denver. I mean, look at the last couple of years with little cap space. I mean, Hufanga, Greenlaw. Look at the first year, McGlinchey, Ben Powers, Zach Allen. I mean, they went out and spent money, and they've been smart with it. So
Hmm.
I think that they will redo some deals if needed to get someone here. But like everyone said, or like both Peyton said, they're going to be smart but aggressive with it. They're not just going to spend to spend.
Like it, man. Exactly the quote I was going to bring up. Smart but aggressive. Phil's coming in here with some stars. Phil, thanks so much for contributing to this podcast. Not only with your questions, with your answers, with your dialogue, but also, man, appreciate the stars, man. It really helps the world go round here over at the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. Good evening, Keith and Judge. If I can get a third or fourth, I let Stiddy go. We can pick up a quarterback in free agency or even a possible draft pick later round draft pick. Uh, you know, I mean, if you're talking third or fourth, I think you're right there, man. You're riding with your quarterback of the future right now. If anything, you should be thinking about who you're bringing along behind him, not a veteran presence, but literally, you know, a young guy, grooming and continuing to be young, as Sean Payton said. That's my opinion as well, Phil. If you're getting a third round pick for Jarrett Stidham, you give him his walking
Yeah,
papers. I'm sorry.
I'm sprinting to get that signed.
Yes, yes. Turn this into the league now. Now, Roy would be too, because he says, in my opinion, Stiddy isn't worth anything. Maybe a bag of Doritos, but for but for but for that, see a Stiddy, yeah, third or fourth, yeah, he's on board with that. And as Paul's coming up and saying, "What's up, Bronco men? Good to see you, Paul, coming in here." Um, Michael wants a question answered here as well. I'll jump in a little around here because I'm trying to jump fees. I promise we'll try to get through these free agents as well. He says, I read that the Broncos should trade wide receiver Cortland Sutton for wide receiver A.J. Brown. A lot of talk about A.J. Brown early on to the Denver Broncos, George Pickens to the Denver Broncos, wanting to get that that elite wide receiver, really put us over the top. Do you do it at the expense of Cortland Sutton? What do you say, Judge? I'd like to get your thoughts, Jody.
I probably wouldn't. You just paid him, so I mean, that's one thing that's going to be hard when you trade him. Who wants to take on that? I mean, the magic number's 30. He's over 30. Who wants to take on that contract? I don't think it's a bad contract, but um, and he's a locker room guy. He's been. I mean, Peyton pretty much dumped everyone else that was on this team from the last regime, other than about 3 guys. So, and Cortland Sutton was one that stayed around. He's the captain on this team. He was a Pro Bowler. Did he have some drops down at the end? Yeah, he did. But um, he's one that I still want around, and I'm not trading him unless you can get a true number one. And I do think AJ Brown is a true number one. But that also comes with a lot of baggage. I need a true number one that doesn't have that.
Well, you're asking for everything, man. You want a non-diva wide receiver that's a number one, and those don't fall off trees every day. So, all right, man. Let's get into this. By the way, Adam and Kayla, good to see you. Paul, good to see you as well. He's saying Sutton and a fourth for AJ Brown. Other people are saying no way, I don't want AJ Brown. But we do need to get to the running back room. I want to hit that one next, man. J.K. Dobbins, Jaleel McLaughlin, Tyler Bidet, all free agents of sorts. We have two unrestricted free agents in J.K. Dobbins and Jaleel McLaughlin, and one exclusive rights free agent in Tyler Bidet. Now, if get Broncos country up to speed maybe here just a little bit, Tyler Bidet sounds like they're trying to work towards a contract, and he's with an exclusive rights free agent. All he needs is a minimum contract, and he's under contract at that point for the Denver Broncos. And it sounds like they're not going to extend anything to Jaleel McLaughlin. So I'm going to start with the unknown. Do they get Tyler Bidet done? And then we'll move on to J.K. Dobbins after that.
Yeah, I'll probably say yeah, because I don't see other teams knocking down the door or even considering him. I mean, he's fallen into that Sean Payton. Sean Payton is loyal to him for whatever reason it is. I mean, he doesn't get carries. I think he had 8 carries last year. I mean, you would have thought after. I mean, he's a big reason that the Stiddy fumble happened in the AFC title game. He ran the wrong route. But like Troutman, like little Jordan Humphreys, once you're in Sean Payton's good side, it's hard to get out of it. So I probably expect him to be back.
Just $1.1 million will get him basically under contract, even actually a little bit less than that. But you're not the only one that's questioning him. Paul's coming in saying bye Bidet. Rodney's saying no on Bidet. Roy
But let me answer that
saying,
in
I want Bidet out. So
2 ways. Do I want him back? No. But he's a Peyton guy, and I mean, like I just said, once you're in that small little group, you pretty much are going to have a job.
Well, then let's ask this: in one quick year, did J.K. Dobbins make it into that group? Did he make it into those guys that Sean Payton loves and is going to be a Sean Payton guy and will bring around back for year after year? Unrestricted free agent J.K. Dobbins, he'll be hitting that tampering period come March 9th, just right around the corner. Do the Denver Broncos get something done with J.K. Dobbins? And if not, we got to figure out, man. If we're not bringing back Tyler Bidet, we're not bringing back Jaleel McLaughlin. We already got holes to fill, and I want some answers of where you think we should fill those, man.
I think ultimately the same thing like last year happens with Dobbins. It doesn't happen early, and I think they sign him for whatever, 4 or 5 million like they did last year. Doesn't cost them a lot. I just hope that that's not their answer again as the number one. I mean, I'm fine with Dobbins as your 3. Tyler Bidet can be a practice squad guy if you need to call up, but Dobbins is a 3. Yeah, I have no problems with that. But if the answer is rewind it from last year and Dobbins is your 1 and you're gonna expect that all year, I don't like that idea.
Okay. If we have a opening, obviously Jaleel McLaughlin's going to create a opening for everything we've heard. Tyler Bidet, you expect him back, so we'll just talk about the one opening. How do they fill that one opening? It sounds like you're in line for a big name one way or another. Do they do it through free agency? Do they do it through the draft? What's your thoughts there?
In your scenario, one opening, I want Travis Etienne. That's my number 1 back. I really hope that they stay away from Kenneth Walker. 1, you're going to have to pay him big money. 2, he is not great in pass protection. 3, he's had trouble staying healthy. and 4, he's not the greatest pass catcher. So I think
Super Bowl MVP.
the Super Bowl made him a lot of money, but
Yeah,
he's never really had a full workload. So
split
that
time.
would be my number one guy. What I'm hoping is there's 2 open spots on this roster, and Bidet can go be a practice squad guy that you call up like Jaleel was last year. And you draft someone in rounds 1, 2, or 3, and you bring in Travis Etienne. That's my number one back.
I like that, man. Nothing that says that if you put 1.1 million on Bidet that he even needs to be on the roster. He can certainly be a practice squad guy. You can go about as deep as you want. You could even say buy it to Bidet, as Paul was saying as well. Michael Ronquillo was just saying that the Kenneth Walker has been linked, and there has been some talk around Kenneth Walker to the Denver Broncos. Kenny Kirkpatrick chiming in saying Benjamin Albright is linking him to the Giants. Good to see a Kenny in there as well. So lots of chatter around J.K. or not J.K. Dobbins, but Kenneth Walker, the third Super Bowl MVP, and not sounds like they're not going to be tendering him. He's going to hit that free agent market as well.
Do you think that's red flags that Seattle's not putting the tag on him?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it tells you that they don't want to put a tag on him. They don't want to pay top of market for him. You know, he is splitting time with Charbonnet up there. You listed off the reasons.
Who's coming off an injury?
He's coming off an injury. He's not the best blocking back. You know, he's not the best pass catching back. I mean, he's got a lot of growth in front of him for you know, let's face it, sometimes when you're the Super Bowl MVP, you got to ride that wave. You know what I mean? You've got to ride that wave while you can. I just don't know if Seattle's willing to pay for that. Let's move on, man, to the fullback tight end. I want to get that out, and then we'll get to our sponsor here. This is another one. I mean, Sean Payton has kept a fullback on the roster a ton. By the way, Paul's really liking Tyler Algier. Broncos can't sign 2 running backs in free agency. I wonder why they can't sign 2 running backs in free agency. Michael, why do you say that? They can sign as many as they want. Even from a dollar perspective, I think there's some ways that we can move around some money to make that work, especially if you're not going top dollar on both of them. But let's get to the fullbacks, man. Adam Prentice, Michael Burton. I'll even put Nate Atkins in there. We have 2 unrestricted free agents and a restricted free agent. What do the Denver Broncos do here, man? This is a position that's kind of been mediocre in a lot of different ways. We don't really use a fullback as a lead blocker. He's a inline blocker, if anything. They don't produce necessarily from a pass catching, except on rare occasion. I'll just go down the line. Adam Prentice and Michael Burton, both of those unrestricted free agents. What are your thoughts on those 2 guys, man?
Burton's an easy one for me. He can go. Prentice, if you can get him for the right price, I bring him back and he can be on your practice squad, kind of like he was this year. And if need be, he can come up. But I'm not signing him to count on him as a 53 guy.
Yeah, I would have to be in agreement. In the comment up there, I don't know why it's giving me a hard time. Keep Prentice and Atkins, he says. Adam Prentice makes the most sense. Michael Burton, I would agree, could probably let go. But Nate Atkins, getting to that one, I'll just kind of skip ahead. Is probably the one that makes the most amount of sense, being a restricted free agent, just needing to give him a minimum tender, offer, just a 1-year league minimum. That makes the most amount of sense to come back. Just want to start seeing some more production out of this particular group if we're going to keep allocating guys on the roster is the big thing. I'm a proponent. If we go out there, I think there's some opportunities in the draft. We could even bring a guy in. So Rodney's jumping right ahead to my next little group here.
Before you go ahead,
go ahead.
Atkins is one of the guys I want back. I mean, he can play tight end. He can play fullback. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was losing some coaches last year. It just seemed like we used the tight end more last year. Um, but he's a guy that I mean, I want him back, and he's one of the what'd you keep 3 this year? I want him as one of your 3 in the 53.
Mm. Says a lot, man. I like that. I like that a lot. Skipping to the true tight ends, I guess you could say, because like you said, Nate Atkins definitely can play that role as well. Adam Troutman, unrestricted free agent, and Lucas Kroll, good friend Lucas Kroll out there, restricted free agent, only takes a minimum contract to keep him. What are we doing at tight end when it comes to the magnets that we can take off the board, as Sean Payton could say, when it comes to these free agents?
Kroll Kroll can be one of the first ones you take off.
Okay.
And then Troutman, I mean, yeah, you could probably take him off, but I'm kind of on the fence. I mean, when Denver uses him, like last year, I thought he was somewhat productive, but and I'm the tight end position is the wild card for me this year because I don't know what. Hopefully, Davis Webb will get them more involved this year.
I agree.
Um, so I'm whatever with Troutman. I mean, he's a decent blocker. Like Bidet, he's a Peyton guy, so I mean that goes a long ways. But if I had my preference, I'd say he could probably go, especially if you're going to keep Nate Atkins.
Hmm.
That's 2 tight ends right now because I I think I want Ingram back.
Oh, okay.
And I say that because I expect Davis Webb to get the tight ends more involved. And when you look at the whole season and Ingram's numbers, it didn't look like he had a great season, but almost 500 yards, 50 catches. I mean, you get him a little more involved, that could be 760, 70 catches.
Hmm.
Pretty easy.
I still want to add more to this room, and I think right now, you were just all excited right before we went live because we heard of another name being released. Jonu Smith being released is expected as well. I just think there's enough names out here to start getting excited about that you can upgrade your tight end room. I think, and I don't think it costs you a whole lot to upgrade your tight end room because there's only a few tight ends that really get paid, and there's a lot of guys that are hoping to get paid. I think you can get one of those guys that are hoping to get paid, bring them in here and replace them, and hopefully get something a little bit more dynamic. I feel like we've been waiting on Adam Troutman for a while. Yes, he's showing he's a capable blocker, and at times he can be a receiver. But I think if you're able to force that a little bit with the type of guy that you bring in, Jonu Smith is one guy. Guy that I like is Isaiah Likely. I know he's not going to bring you the same blocking abilities, but I sure like what they can bring on the other side. I think that's what we need to do at that tight end position. We're already talking about keeping fullbacks. If you need some blocking, bring your fullback in. Let's go ahead and up that a little bit. And Phil's saying I need to up my volume a little bit. So I'll see
Well,
what I can
if
do there.
you are keeping Nate Atkins, then all the other guys that are blocking tight ends can go because he can block and he can play multiple positions.
Mm,
And we seen last year he can make plays and catches.
very good,
So
man.
he fills double needs, and you can get rid of those other guys where you can bring in a Likely or a Smith and stuff that are receiving tight ends. I mean, you already got one in Ingram, so
Phil, let me know if this is any better. Sorry if the volume was a little bad. I'm gonna hit just one more, just because it's one guy, it's one position, it's the only guy that we have at this position, and then we can hit our sponsorship break, and we'll break into the other side of this. Wide receiver, Little Jordan Humphrey is an unrestricted free agent. I think this is a pretty quick one as well. Any reason to bring back Little Jordan Humphrey?
no. But again, he falls into that Troutman, Tyler Bidet category, and I think it probably goes a long way when the wide receivers are struggling and hurt this offseason, and you could just go get him, and he came right in, and I don't know why, but you will look down the stretch. I mean, he should have had 2 touchdowns against Buffalo.
Mm,
Um, they're throwing to him in big plays. I mean, he had that big third down drop against the Patriots. So again, Sean Payton trusts him, but he was willing to let him go last year. So hopefully they move on from him. I've seen enough of that. Especially when he was getting the second most snaps last year for the lack of production.
mm. Yeah, simple as this. I'll make it short. We want to upgrade this position. Pure and simple. I want the spots open. I can't leave a spot open for little Jordan Humphrey and then say I'm trying to upgrade this roster when it comes to wide receiver. If you're able to bring him back or need to bring him back later in some capacity, so be it. But right now, I'm looking for something better than little Jordan Humphrey. We need to get over the hump, and over the hump we can get, I think, if we get a big target in here.
And I want
Now,
to add
though,
something real
oh,
quick on that. I've said I want a true number one or a 1A to Sutton. So all these guys that fall into the Mims, Franklin, Pat Bryant, and those type of wide receivers, I don't need another one of those because all it is stunting their growth of guys that have been here that are learning the system and growing. I don't want that. I want a true alpha number one
mm,
or a true Batman to Cortland Sutton or a Robin to Cortland Sutton. So it's that or nothing. And I'll roll like Sean Payton is, keeps saying, I'll roll with what I have. I don't want to just bring in another guy to stunt the growth of so that you have so you can throw, keep switching up play packages every other play. I don't want that. So
mm. Yeah, big decisions, but we also know how Sean Payton likes to roll. I'm going to roll right into our sponsorship break right here and talk about Morgan Trinkets. Morgan Trinkets is your headquarters for Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, estate gold at wholesale prices, and they've been doing it for over 35 years. Once a nationwide company, now they just hang out in your backyard. Like this weekend, they'll be at the Survival Show at Longmont Fairgrounds, March 7th and 8th. Rocking it out down there at the Longmont Fairgrounds. Stop by, tell Pearl that we said hello. Or on March 14th and 15th, you can swing by the coin show there, right there in Longmont Fairgrounds. She'll be there as well. Back-to-back weekends at the Longmont Fairgrounds. Great opportunity to see Morgan Trinkets, Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, estate gold at wholesale prices. Search them out on Etsy by typing in Morgan Trinkets Co. or on eBay by typing in Pearl Heat. Michael Ronquillo is saying CBS Sports has got a new insider we should all be watching. And he says that the Broncos are working on a big splash, man. Well, I'll have to check that out as well. I used to watch CBS Sports Insider all the time. So right now I'm going to get to the inside of the offensive line, talk about some more unrestricted and restricted and exclusive rights free agents, all of that. We'll start off with Alex Palczewski, restricted free agent. Again, 3 years, right on the dot. We can go out there. We can get him locked up with a minimum tender. Do you think we bring Alex Palczewski back on a like you said, like I said, at least a 1 year minimum deal?
yeah, I think we probably do. I mean, you're swing everything. So well, maybe now I don't know where. I mean, he kind of got Wally pipped for Frank Crum kind of towards the end when he stopped playing left guard. So, um, but I think in a pinch, if Mike McGlinchey went down for a long period of time, they would turn to him. So I would bring him back.
Yeah, Palcho, I think, is just too versatile of a piece not to bring back on such a easy contract to get him locked up on. I think Palcho is back for another year at least. I could also see them working out a longer term contract with him. You're going to get him for cheap at this point. Doesn't have a whole lot of experience. Get it done. Get it done right now. The other guy, though,
I
that
have one other thing. I will
yeah,
add. I don't want to bring him back to replace Ben Powers. I don't want
okay,
that. I don't want him back as a starter and replacing Ben Powers.
Mm, very good, very good. I can understand that, man. I don't look at that as an upgrade. I look at it as a rotational piece, depth piece. Alex Palczewski, I think he's a strong piece in that regard. But I'd agree. I don't think he's your answer along this front line that's going to be
And I bring
protecting
Ben
Bo Nix
Powers
and
up.
blocking.
Someone had asked if they'd heard about that trade.
Oh yeah,
I'm not interested in trading him. Is there better out there? Maybe, but the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and I'm not rocking the boat for just to say we save some money.
yeah, just some interesting discussions to come when it comes to guys like Ben Powers in the future as well. And we'll have to start building around. A lot of people are thinking that the Broncos will be looking at interior linemen, offensive linemen, and defensive linemen in this draft for reasons like Ben Powers and the contract that's coming up for him. Sam Mustipher, center, was brought in late in the year and actually, hey, stepped in and helped us out in some key some key times down the stretch.
Yeah, meaningful
Sam,
snaps against Buffalo.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about, man. Like really stepped up and stepped in for us and played good ball. He's an unrestricted free agent. Do you think that Sam Mustipher is a guy that you try to work out a deal to bring back with what he was able to contribute to your team last year?
No, I don't think so because Wattenberg will be back healthy, and you have Forsyth. That's two centers on this roster. You don't, and I'm not sure how you the guy from South Carolina. How I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, but he also can play center, and I think he'll be in the rotation. There's probably a depth piece.
Nick Gargilo, is that who you're talking about
Yep,
here?
yep,
That Roy's talking about. He's saying don't forget
yep.
about him as well. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
mean,
definitely think he'd have made the 53 if it wasn't for the late
the
season
injury.
and the injury. So
That's right. That's right. You guys are on top of it, man. You have like memories right there, man. I appreciate y'all keeping this old brain up up to speed a little bit. Phil McLaughlin, man, he's thinking, Powers could be on the trading block. He's marking him as a guy that's going to be traded. I like the hot take, Phil. I like to see if we'll see if it comes true. Um, Michael Ronquillo saying signing running back Kenneth Walker and running back Travis Etienne or Tyler Algier. That's what I'm at. Oh yeah, there's no way that you're getting two of the three. And he was talking about when I was saying you can't get two of the two big or free agents. Yeah, I don't think you're going out there and signing two of the best out there. That would be a complete reset, yes, and you'd have to be finding someone who's really interested in RJ Harvey and probably be wanting to pay a ton for him if that was the case. Um, all right, man. Getting into the meat of it right here. It's the question that's been on everyone's mind, but I think it's the question that I think a lot of people already know the answer for, man. John Franklin Myers, unrestricted free agent on the defensive line. Just one of three defensive linemen. We'll also talk about Jordan Jackson and Matt Henningsen as well. But we'll start off with JFM. All but gone, my friend?
yeah, I think that was pretty much the answer when they re-signed Malcolm Roach so early. And the fact that Malcolm Roach, I think, at the end of the season had more snaps than John Franklin Myers.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, John Franklin Myers, we love him. I love what he was able to contribute, but you're right. I thought we even saw as the year progressed, we saw those snaps make sure that they got spread around, got ready for the transition without a John Franklin Meyer. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. I was on commenting on the juice yesterday that I had him going to the Chiefs. That would be like a
Ugh.
worst case scenario, right? Having to see him upset, mad, playing against the Broncos twice a year. So looks like we're going to be reloading in some capacity, but maybe we'll find out how much before we go any further. Exclusive rights free agent Jordan Jackson and restricted free agent Matt Henningsen. What do you think about these two guys? One, both staying, going?
Probably both going, especially Henningsen. I don't think it helped that he's coming off of an injury.
Mm.
A season, he lost all the last season because of it. So I would say both gone.
Yeah, I'm
And
not
I
gonna go.
say that, and I
Uh,
say that because you got uh, Sylveon Jones, who barely played last year, who was their fourth round draft pick. At some point, you've got to bring him up here and see what he can do.
yeah, and you'll have opportunity. Obviously, you're talking about a big reload. If you're letting all three defensive linemen go, JFM, and I know it's more backup pieces with Jordan Jackson and Matt Henningsen, but hey, man, you'll have to be putting some pieces in place and figuring some things out. That being said, do you think that this is something that they address in free agency? Do you think they do it in the draft? Do you think they do both? I mean, with three spots open for you. By the way, I think they hold on to Jordan Jackson. I don't think it'll cost that much in order to keep him in the door and have a little bit of depth on that roster. Still, that leaves two open spots for me, three for you. How do they attack it?
The draft for me, I mean, if I was going to guess now, I mean, obviously Zach Allen, DJ Jones, Roach are your starters. You got Sylveon Jones there, and they're high on Wazirike. So
Yeah,
that's five right there. And you draft another guy, there's six. If you keep Jordan Jackson around, there's seven.
Jordan, or I mean, sorry, Rodney Garcia. He chimed in on YouTube saying we still have a Wazirike. Michael Ronquillo, he's thinking that JFM is all slated to go to the Tennessee Titans with his ties that he has there. Michael, great prediction. We'll see if that one comes true. Um, and Broncos running back coach has ties with running back Kenneth Walker because he recruited him to Iowa State, says one Michael Ronquillo. Making those ties, trying to see if we can connect those dots. And maybe there are some dots to be connected, some strings to attach to those two guys, three guys, and and yeah, and get Kenneth Walker as a Denver Bronco. You just don't know. This is a guy that I know. We talked about this a little bit pre-show that you were all about making sure we got back. Outside linebacker DeAndre Tillman, exclusive rights free agent, just for the record. But you're all about bringing him back, correct?
I am because at some point I would probably try to move. If you're going to do a big splash to go get a number one wide receiver tight end, I'm moving one of my, whether it be Jonathan Cooper or Jonah Ellis,
Mm.
because I had trust DeAndre Tillman one, and I loved what I seen down the stretch from Q Robinson, and I think he can. Where he was whatever sixth on the depth chart, he might be three going into
Mm.
this coming off season. So I
A
mean,
lot of it.
I love oh Jonathan Cooper, and I like what I've seen from Jonah Ellis, but if you can go with that's a piece you got to give up to go get the true number one wide receiver. I'm making that move all day because like I said, I loved what I seen down the stretch from Q Robinson, and I thought DeAndre Tillman played well. I mean, he's not the greatest, but I mean, he's just solid out there. He had two interceptions this year, so yeah, I definitely want him back.
Yeah, it makes sense from a depth standpoint, like you said, especially if you're in that trade idea. And by the way, Rodney over on YouTube, he's right there with you saying trade Cooper. It makes sense a lot of times. Those teams that are willing to let go of a talent at wide receiver, they're looking to try to maybe get better on the other side of the ball. That's the issue that they have. So keeping a guy like DeAndre Tillman, if you think you're going to be letting go of, a Jonathan Cooper or an Ellis, then yeah, I agree with that. Also, I have him starred here. Any guy that's an exclusive rights free agent, you know what I mean? You need to highly consider bringing back to your roster always, unless you just feel like this was a failed experiment. If
Especially
you're
if he
just
was on your 53 already.
exactly, yeah, he's up there elevated to your 53, and and you get him
And
on a good
contributed.
deal.
Like Tillman, he was in the rotation. He played. So
He dang right he played. Like you said, two interceptions. I think one point, I think he was leading the Broncos. I think he had actually ended up leading the Broncos in
He
interceptions for
said
the
he
year.
had more interceptions than Pat Surtain.
That's for sure. Um, I said the meat of it, but now we're really, really into the meat of it, man. Linebacker position at full attention here for the Denver Broncos this off season, man, and it should be, especially with just the free agents that we have. We have two unrestricted free agents tampering just around the corner. Guys going to be talking to other teams, and we're going to have to try to figure out if we can talk them back into coming into the Denver Broncos as well. Justin Sternad, Alex Singleton, both of those guys, UFAs. What are we doing here, man? Because I know how you feel about Dre Greenlaw. You're all about bringing him back, but we still have two question marks, even if that is the case.
I think I'm pretty sold on bringing Alex Singleton back. He's your green dot. I mean, that went over pretty far in the locker room coming back from cancer in 2 weeks. Um, the coverage I think gets overblown a little bit. Is he the greatest in coverage? No, he is not. But I mean, if it wasn't for Alex Singleton making that big hit on Cooks in the playoff game, you may be down 17, whatever, 17-3, and you might get routed at home. So the guy makes plays. They speak highly of him. Vance Joseph, raves about him. He knows this this defense. And I'm talking like a 2-year deal, 3 at the most. Something you can get out of if play declines because he is over 30 now. And then Sternad, I would love Sternad back, but he's going to get just like the Josie Jewell. He played himself into a bigger contract where it's going to be hard to match that.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I mean, with Sternad not getting him under contract, if we don't do anything before, tampering begins, you always have that opportunity.
Plus, he's already said, you either sign me and basically guarantee me a starting spot, or I'm out of here.
Yeah, yeah. And they do have questions, man. I'll be honest. Me and you know it. We sit on opposite sides of the fence usually when it comes to a few issues, and one of those issues is Dre Greenlaw. Now, this is also one of the positions I want to upgrade the most in free agency. So, if I drop a Devin Lloyd onto this roster, I think that brings about a lot of questions from Dre Greenlaw to Alex Singleton to Justin Sternad of who you're bringing back, who you're not bringing back, who you're pairing with Devin Lloyd at that point. But that would ultimately, I think, be the biggest upgrade that we could give. And like I said, I know we're on opposite sides of Dre Greenlaw. I don't want to digress into that conversation. We're pretty deep into our.
But just
our
a simple,
episode.
since you brought him up, if you had to pick right now today, is he a starting middle linebacker for Denver this year or no? If you were making the call,
I wouldn't bring him back as a starting linebacker. As much as I love what he did while he was here and while he was on the field, I can't live in the past and hope that we can rekindle something that happened, when he was 2-3 seasons ago before he got injured in the Super Bowl. I need production. I need to go, and I can't wait on it. I can't have another season where one of my biggest impact players, one of my biggest free agent signings isn't out there for me or isn't. I mean, he did fine, but I didn't also go, oh my gosh, Dre Greenlaw. Wow. Not like Talanoa Hufanga. That's kind of like I needed more Talanoa Hufanga moments from Dre Greenlaw to me really hold on to him and continue to go down the path and hope. So that's where I'm at, man. I wanted everything out of Dre Greenlaw. I love Dre Greenlaw. But I just didn't see enough from him last year to be holding on to that hope. Now, we got to go. That's my 2 cents. Thanks for letting me talk about it, man. I appreciate
no,
it.
I just wanted because you know how I feel about it. I mean, he
Yes.
spoke pretty highly that this was like learning Spanish for him. The way that they do training camp in San Francisco to here, and I want to see a second year. Did he learn Spanish? He's going to be healthy this offseason. I want to see that.
I get that, man. I get that. There is a learning curve. Learning curve should be gone for all of these guys, in my opinion. Last little group we have here, man, the defensive backs, Devon Key, PJ Locke, and DTY, Delarian Turner Yell. Uh, we have an exclusive rights free agent in Devon Key, and then unrestricted free agency when it comes to Turner Yell and PJ Locke. Uh, Tackle it however you like, man.
I think this one's the easiest. Devon Key is an easy yes. I mean, he was an all pro special teams guy. He comes in when you're in dime a lot of the times. I mean, he recovered that fumble in the Buffalo game. That's an easy one for me. And then PJ Locke is just as easy for me. I'm re-signing PJ Locke. He's a great third safety on this team. From where he was in the Buffalo game 2 years ago, off-season back surgery, and he claims that fixed all his problems. Well, I didn't really see him as a liability when he was on the field this year. So those two are easy yeses for me. And then Delarian Turner Yell, it sucks. I mean, he came back, made the field a couple plays, and re-injured his knee again. He's gone for me.
Yeah, I like DTY, man. Saw him at training camp, thought he was his rookie year, and thought he was pretty dynamic. Broncos obviously kept him around and kept him a part of this roster, but I think it is time for DTY to go. I read an article, I should say, that there's a possibility that Brandon Jones could be a moved on from candidate. If that's the case, then yeah, you're definitely talking about Devon Key and PJ Locke being brought back. Easy Devon Key, exclusive rights, free agent, lock him up on a minimum contract. You're all set to go. But I'm right on board with you, man. I'm bringing back PJ Locke, and I don't even care if that means Brandon Jones is or isn't on this roster. I think those guys are that large of contributors that you bringing them back.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm signing PJ Locke regardless if Brandon Jones is here or not. So
love it, man. And as far as replacements, we didn't really talk about that too much throughout the episode. I think we skipped over a few. When it comes to defensive line and defensive back, I'll just hit those two. Defensive line, draft, free agency. How do we end up fixing whatever spots we have? Because we were talking about JFM. And I think we did end up talking about that one.
Draft for me.
And then
I mean, it's depth because your starters are set now that you paid Roach. So
depth draft. I would have to agree there. DB, do you make any splashes there? Is there any reason to do anything on the safety side of things? Or I mean, it's just DTY. Are we talking depth
safety?
There as well?
No. Now corner. What do they try to package something and get rid of Riley Moss? And because at some point you got to see what Jahdae Barron can do, or that was a wasted first round pick. You can't have him playing 20% of the snaps as a first rounder in year two, in my opinion. And I've said all along, and it's not at the expense of Jaquan McMillan. He was your second best. He probably was your best corner last year, to be honest. With Pat Surtain being out, he made the most impactful plays. He's the best slot corner in football, and I'm not getting rid of that. So,
yeah, I hear you. We need to bring back the hot take. That'll be having to come around here again here pretty soon. I released one, I think, on a comment on one of our other podcasts. This is my hot take, man. If you have the right guy sitting there, maybe a tight end out of Oregon, at the number 12 position, package in Riley Moss and your number 30 pick, maybe if you need to go a little bit more, I don't know. Haven't done the math on it, especially when you're talking about Riley Moss, and trading with the Dallas Cowboys, who need some secondary help to get the guy that you want. I'm just saying, that's my hot take, man. That's my hot take. That's what it would take for me to get rid of Riley Moss, though. I think, at least in my opinion, when it comes to your evaluation, some others as well, I think he's still a little bit undervalued. I don't think you can just plug anybody in there, and I think there's a lot of hope if you just expect Jade Barron to be there. I know that you put a lot of hope there already in selecting him in the first round, but I like what we already have on the field, and it's maybe it
Do,
just makes me nervous to think about not having what we've had over the last couple of years.
do you like the? Have you seen the trade floated around? It's like Riley Moss and a second for AJ Brown.
Oh boy, I'm okay with it. I guess I've been talking about getting a big wide receiver. I think that's one of the big pieces that's needed. I just, if the Broncos pull the trigger, then they feel good about who AJ Brown is walking into that locker room. That's what I had to come to terms with at that point. Uh, do I feel comfortable with it? Not being able to sit in a room with AJ Brown and talk with him myself? Not necessarily, but I'll have to have that faith in the Broncos if they pulled off that trade.
How comfortable are you with Jade Barron as your number 2 corner?
I think that I think he has the skill set. I think that he can develop into there, but it's the not knowing, And hey, let's face it, Riley Moss was pressed into that role and pressed into that really quickly and excelled. It could be another guy like Jade Barron that could do the same. So maybe sometimes you got to take that leap of faith on a first round pick. Not a
Was
bad
that a
way to
bad
go.
was that a bad draft pick last year, Jade Barron?
I don't think so because I don't think you could ever expect what you got out of Jaquan McMillan, and plus, like you said, I think you have to kind of future proof yourself. You know that guys like Riley Moss are going to be coming up and they're going to be expecting big contracts. What's Riley Moss's next contract going to look like? You got to protect yourself, and doing that by getting a first round pick in Jade Barron resets your clock if you need to, and you're hoping that you can continue to make this window be open for Bo Nix and what you're trying to get done. So I don't think it's a bad call. I just think when depth is used and it's not, or depth is used in the draft but not used on the field right away, we kind of feel a little bit awkward about that. So,
Right.
man, thanks for the rapid fire questions from me, man. I was giving you all the questions on all these free agents and if they were coming and if what we're going to do if not, man. It's been a fantastic episode, man, but we're
So are
just
you
over an hour.
on board? And I just used Trevor's one that said he would get rid of Jaquan McMillan to move Riley or to move Jade Barron into the slot. Are you on board with that, or do you feel like he's a core piece of this defense now after the way he played last year?
He's a core piece, especially with what you're paying him. I mean, you can't let a guy like that go. You know what I mean?
Jaquan, I'm talking. You were
Oh
talking
yeah,
Jaquan.
yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I like Jaquan McMillan. I think he is a core piece of this defense. I think you need to keep him around. What he did last year. We talk about Riley Moss playing opposite PS2, but then if those two guys are playing good, then you got to look at your third corner and how much is he getting picked on. I think
Right.
what he did was like off the charts. I mean, hold on to him as long as you can. You
Yeah, he
know,
made a lot of incredible plays. You go to the Kansas City game, big sacks. I mean, he saved the Buffalo game. If he doesn't pick that ball off, Buffalo's kicking in a field goal and winning the football game.
yeah. Michael, just spoiling all our fun before we get out of here. Just making sure that we all know when they traded for Kansas City traded Trent McDuffie over to Los Angeles Rams, they also got the 29th pick in return, just one in front of the Denver Broncos. So, yeah, all the more reasons to maybe trade up in the
I'm okay
draft.
with
I don't
that
know.
because
You're okay with?
because I've said for a while now, Denver's put themselves in a position where if they want a guy, overdraft for him to get him. I don't care if
Mhm.
you are sold on whoever it may be, get him. I don't care about what the draft for or the draft thing tells you where he should go. I don't care about that. You're at a position now, and Jade Barron's a perfect example. You were at a position not as much last year, but you could take a guy that you probably that wasn't a needed position, and I think Denver's there now. So,
Hmm.
and now you can move up. You've got move up and get the guy you want now. So,
It's funny when we talk about this draft class, and I keep hearing, boy, the safeties are looking really good. Offensive linemen, defensive linemen look pretty good in this class. Running backs kind of having a little bit of resurgence, a little bit, especially with the top two picks coming out of Notre Dame. And the one thing I'm not hearing a ton of, and I think that could be sitting there. And after this, man, we should wrap up this episode. But I think that wide receivers could be just by the boatload by the time the first round starts coming around. I don't think they're going to go very quickly, and there could be some good potential there. Uh, we
heard a
should
lot
be
of people
thinking,
say that there's not a even the wide receiver from Ohio State. There's not a true number one in this draft. So
yeah,
it's a bunch of twos and threes.
yeah, no one really jumping off. No Calvin Johnsons like in this draft. I can just tell
Right.
you right there. Peter Johnson saying we should just f them picks. Giving up good core players like Moss, McMillan in a Super Bowl window is not a great idea, in my opinion. So he's like, hey, hold on to every player we think is good. If you need to, get rid of those draft picks in order to fill in the places that you need to. You know what I mean? Move around, move up, future draft picks, whatever it happens to take. But don't let your good players go in a window like
Well, when
this.
he says F them picks, just go look at the Rams. I think the last like 8 years they've had one first round pick because they've traded them all away.
Yep, Mr. Jared Verse. And with that,
Yep.
man, we do need to wrap up this episode. A great episode, man. 21 free agents ready to hit 21 Denver Broncos players ready to hit free agency. We had answers on all of them, plus a lot of other talk throughout when it came to the Denver Broncos, man. I appreciate you being here for this evening. Any final thoughts before we get out, man?
No, I'm excited for what happens Monday. I I expect Denver to restructure a few guys in the next couple days, free up some money, and I expect at least if nothing else, I expect a big time running back signed.
It's going to be an interesting few days, man. We've already seen it, with expected releases and the free agency market starting to stack up out there. Like you said, the guys in the front office, man, they're putting in the midnight oil right now, burning the midnight oil. Have those candles burning in the window, man, because when it comes to all these free agents in the market, along with your own free agents, trying to get this all taken care of, trying to plan and get all those magnets in place, as Payton would say. It's a lot of work, man. We'll be covering it. We'll make sure we're up to speed. If there's anything breaking, of course, you'll hear it here on the Denver Bronco Roundup or the Rocky Mountain Sports Network, whatever podcast we have. We go live, by the way, every Wednesday, every Saturday with the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We come back as well with the Juice on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's a all football show, all NFL teams, some college football as well. And then, of course, don't forget about our brand new show, the the Pick Is In Mock Draft Podcast, and that's been jumping out at you every Sunday. By the way, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So all of you that love the mock drafts, man, Kenny, Trevor, they've been doing a fantastic job every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. They've been giving you the Pick Is In Mock Draft Podcast. By the way, scheduling update. We will be going live on Monday with the Juice rather than Tuesday with the Juice because we're going to be talking all about free agency as that kicks off. So check that out as well, man. And sounds like you're going to be judging on the mock draft Pick Is In draft show as well. So another face on the Pick Is In mock draft podcast. Check out Jody on Sunday as well, man. So with that, we got to get out of here. Thanks everyone that came in. Star givers, we appreciate you a ton. All the comments, all the posse members coming in here, rocking, talking about the Denver Broncos like we always do. But we got to get out of here. like we always do as well. Boots in the stirrups, guns in the holsters, and of course, the Denver Broncos in your heart. Until next episode, we're out of here. Mile high salute to you. Good night, everybody.